welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are jumping in with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm so excited, y'all. All right, but before we head into that, let's do an announcement. One very big hot goss, and then we'll hop into the episode. So, announcement, Patreon. Talk about it every episode now. If you want to go over there and join in on that, we have 3 tiers. The first tier is $3 a month Canadian. There you'll get these episodes ad free as well as AMAs once a month. Second tier, you get everything on the first tier as well as coverage of a reality show from yesteryear, and that currently is Jersey Shore. We're on season 3. And also, if you are interested in listening to an episode before hopping in on that, I do release the first episode of each season on the free feed. Season 3's episode 1 was released earlier this month, so you can go ahead and take a listen to that, and then go on over there and join in on the fun if you're interested. And then Tier 3 is $7 a month. You get everything from the first 2 tiers as well as coverage of a true crime documentary. You do also have all of the backlog available to you. This month we did the Lacey Peterson documentary. Again, very similarly to Jersey Shore, we do release the very first episode of that documentary on the free feed for you to listen to that before coming on over to the Patreon. So like again, if it's a 3-part documentary, you'll get the very first episode. If it's like a longer form documentary or like Into the Fire was a 2-parter, you'll get like the first episode of my coverage of that and whatever. And again, if you also just want to try any of the tiers before committing to it, you can try each tier for free for a week before committing to it. Again, also, if you were to start off with the first tier, but then you want to upgrade to the second tier, you will also have the opportunity to try that before committing to it for the week. Again, if you're interested into that, you can head over to patreon.com/realitytea2. The link is in the show notes as well, and on any social media or on the website as well. So there's that. Let's head into hot goss. One very big piece of hot goss. The Ultimatum Queer Love Season 2 is coming, y'all. I don't know when, but it is coming. I will be covering that on the main feed. I'm really excited to finally, it was a huge regret of mine to not talk about the first season. So I'm going to be talking about the second season on the main feed. Or I should say like on the main feed, as well as you're going to be getting that right away. So AJ and Brittany, we're talking about the cast here. So we have the cast. We have AJ and Brittany. I'll post each person as well on social media. They have been together for 5 years. So AJ is she, her pronouns. She's 28 years old. She is the receiver and she's a Libra. So, her occupation is an administrative assistant. Her first queer crush was Tiana Taylor. Fun fact, she was once a radio personality in Orlando. So about AJ. So AJ is hesitant to marry Brittany because she doesn't want to always come second place to her ambitious partner's business. Saying, quote, "It's not about love. It's about whether we're truly ready to prioritize the same future." That's not to say that Brittany hasn't long tried to make it clear that a life with AJ is exactly what she wants. The two first met when Brittany walked right up to AJ at a club, tapped her on the shoulder, and proclaimed, "Hey, I think you're cute." I genuinely didn't realize she was interested until she followed it up with, "I like girls. I want your number." Um, how fitting that the two were first drawn together on the dance floor. Music has always been a part of me, and connecting with people through sound, rhythm, and vibe still brings me joy. So, more about Brittany. She is also she, her pronouns. She's 27. She is the giver, the ultimatum giver, and she is a Virgo. Her occupation is a registered nurse slash entrepreneur. Her first queer crush was Kalani. If you don't know who that is, just a singer. Fun fact, I love dancing at Caribbean parties and living on my dog and bunny. Both are like therapy in their own way. So more about Brittany. Brittany surprised herself when she boldly approached AJ at the club that night they met, but she simply couldn't resist, and their electric chemistry was solidified the moment they began to dance together. It was magic. We were so in tune and in sync, she shares. Unfortunately, the couple is significantly less in step with the vision of the future together. I issued AJ an ultimatum because after years of loving and building a life with her, I am ready for the next chapter. I want clarity on where we are going and if she sees forever the same way I do. Next couple, we have Haley and biggest pillar or pilar. We'll say pillar. I think, anyways, they've been together. Check this out. 10 years. This is what I want to see. So Haley uses she, her pronouns. She's 29 years old. She is the ultimatum giver, and she, like me, is a Taurus. So her occupation is a senior food scientist. It's incredible. Her first queer crush was the five muses from Hercules. Fun fact, in her spare time, she enjoys chocolatiering. So Haley first got to know Pillar Pilar when they were both orientation leaders after their freshman year in college, and they've been inseparable ever since. Haley was attracted to Pillar. I'm going to say Pillar. I'm sticking to that. Pillar's kindness, drive, enthusiasm for life, sense of humor, and yes, her appearance. Her outrageous good looks were the cherry on top Haley shares. Growing up in California, Haley's queer identity was shaped by the viral No Hate campaign. Okay, sorry, I had to think about it. So, No Hate campaign. After a decade of being happily partnered with Pilar, she's ready to exercise her right to wed the love of her life. We've always been firmly planted next to one another, and I want an even deeper commitment. If they make it through this experiment and down the aisle, Haley will be raising a glass of her drink of choice, a filthy martini, and toasting to a bright future with Pilar. So Pilar uses she, her pronouns. She's 29 years old. She is the receiver, as we know, and she's a Libra. She's a physical therapist. Her first queer crush was Princess Kaida from Atlantis. Fun fact, my club debut as a DJ was opening for my biggest inspiration, Jay Wara. Don't know who that is. So about her, we've never slept apart since that summer. Pilar says about the early days of her relationship with Haley, but for Pilar, that more than fills her cup because she ultimately views marriage as a pointless societal construct. Pilar's feelings are further complicated by the internal turmoil she has about her parents, who openly disapprove of her queer identity and relationship with Haley. Ugh. Though Pilar's family isn't accepting of her sexuality, she sought guidance from other members of the LGBTQ plus community, including artists like DJ Jaywara, who inspired her to embrace her own queerness and pursue her dream of building a career as a gay woman in the male-dominated music industry. Next couple, we have Kyle and Bridget, together 2.5 years. Kyler uses she, they pronouns. I'll continue saying they. They are age 30. They're the giver, the ultimate giver, and they're Leo. Their occupation is a graphic designer. Their first queer crush was Rachel Stevens from High School 7. Fun fact, as a child, I could recite from memory every dog breed that was in the Encyclopedia of Dog Breeds. Unfortunately, I can no longer do this. So about Kyle. So Kyle was immediately drawn to Bridget's energy, even through the phone screen. The two both swiped right on a dating app, and now, years later, Kyle's sure about spending the rest of their life together. Quote, as I've gotten older, I've realized getting married is an important step for me. I want to know Bridget is committed to building a life and future together. Marriage is a non-negotiable for Kyle, which isn't really a surprise coming from someone who has very particular expectations for an ideal date night. For the record, it's a sunset picnic on a warm beach with all of their favorite snacks, no bugs, and no wind. Now it's time for Bridget to decide if their future includes an engagement. Hopefully their relationship doesn't go the way of Angel Hayes and Ireland Baldwin's, which just so happened to be a formative pop culture partnership in Kyle's personal queer awakening. So Bridget, she also uses she, they pronouns. So just so I'm not confusing myself, I'll just say they. We'll just get to they until otherwise. So they're age 28. They are the receiver and they're an Aquarius. They are a writer / bartender. Their first queer crush was Zach and Cody from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I can't really explain it, but if you had a crush on them as a kid, you're probably gay now. That's fucking funny. I mean, they're hot now, like both of them, but like, I totally get that. I didn't have a crush on them when they were a kid, so I'm not gay. I guess. That's really funny. Okay, fun fact. I have a black belt in martial arts. So about Bridget. So for Bridget, marriage feels unnecessary, saying, quote, I don't really understand the point. However, Bridget does see a forever with Kyle, who has always felt like the past, present, and future. Right off the bat, I felt like we had the same sense of humor. And it just felt like I had always known her for a while. Bridget says of their first date, just as Bridget's cosmic ties with Kyle have gone back ages, so too has a connection with her own queerness. So I'm just reading this verbatim, by the way. At just 2 years old, Bridget begged her mom to allow her to watch the puppy episode of Ellen, in which Ellen DeGeneres' character comes out as gay. The iconic episode, which Bridget thought was actually going to be about a puppy, had a profound effect. Quote, looking back, that's probably what made me gay. First of all, I don't like that for a bitch, though, just because you're not. I hear what she's saying, though. But I think to say it like that is kind of like, oh, being gay is a choice, and it's not. So, anyways, it's fine. Next couple, we have Mel and Marie. They've been together for 4 years. Mel uses she, her pronouns. She's 27, and she's the ultimatum receiver. And she, like me, is a Taurus. So her occupation is a food truck owner / chef. Her first career crush was Pink. I didn't know if I wanted her or wanted to be her, probably both. Fun fact, I don't know what this is, which is I have trypophobia. I don't know what that is. Now I want to know what that is. 1 second. Hold the thought. Okay, so trypophobia is a term used to describe an aversion or fear of closely packed clusters of small holes or patterns. Interesting. Okay. So about Mel. Mel has always had a crush on Marie, but they didn't begin dating until after Marie came out. Same quote, I was definitely intrigued and wanted to step out of the friend zone. In the years since, the two have launched into both a relationship and a business partnership with their popular food truck, which keeps them very busy and leaves little time for romance. It's to be expected that the lines between their personal and professional lives tend to be a bit blurry, especially since the way to Mel's heart is through her stomach. Quote, take me on a flight to anywhere and let's try all the bougie food spots, she says, of her dream date. But before they drive off into the sunset together, Mel needs some convincing to settle down. Marie's ready for forever, but I feel there's a few things we need to get in order first. So Marie, she uses she, her pronouns. She's 27, and she is the giver, an ultimate giver. She is a Virgo. And I think we established her occupation is a food truck owner slash butler slash bartender. Her first career crush was Sophia Bush. Well, she's old like me. Fun fact, she says, I am the most extroverted introvert there is. About Marie. So Marie met Mel through a mutual friend when they were teenagers. Though Marie wasn't out at the time, she was drawn to Mel's confidence and certainty in herself. Now that the couple is partnered in life and in business, Marie thinks that it's time to elevate their relationship. Building a family is also an important consideration, and Marie believes the first step in that journey is marriage. I want to know where I'm going in life, she says. In issuing this ultimatum, she's simply looking for direction, and nothing would make this homebody happier than if it pointed toward many more nights with Mel on the couch. Marie's perfect evenings are spent drinking a glass of wine in a cozy robe and watching a movie, a stand-up comedy, or the show that's impacted her the most, The L Word. Okay, so next couple we have Dana and McGann. It's McGann. I think it's Megan. We'll assume. Anyway, they've been together for 1.5 years. So Dana uses she, her pronouns. She's 25 years old. She's the ultimatum giver, and she is a Gemini. So her occupation is a relationship manager. Don't know what that means. Her first queer crush was King Princess. Don't know who that is. Fun fact, she says I'm left-handed. Why is that a fun fact? I'm confused. Anyways, Dana says that she was immediately obsessed upon first meeting Megan at a bar. She was captured by Megan's beauty, uniqueness, and fun energy. Even with strong feelings for her now partner, Dana has struggled with her avoidant attachment style and how it manifests in her relationship. Ironically, though, Dana is not the one dragging her feet when it comes to committing to each other for a lifetime. She says, quote, I'm ready to be more serious and plan a future with Megan. For Dana, a formative pop culture moment was Miley Cyrus publicly coming out as queer. So let's see if this experiment turns out to be a relationship wrecking ball. Megan, who uses she, her pronouns, she's 27. She's the ultimatum receiver. And like me, she is a Taurus. There's a lot of Taurus in this cast. Her occupation is a business manager. Her first career crush was Xenon from Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century. Fun fact, I like to untangle stuff, necklaces, headphones, etc. So about her, unlike her partner, Megan says that she walks through life with an anxious attachment style. Despite the insecurity she might inherently feel in romantic relationships, making a lifetime commitment isn't the solve she's looking for. Megan believes she's receiving the ultimatum from Dana due to her own issues with boundaries. Plus, Megan's traditional family is reluctant to accept her queerness, so she struggles envisioning a future in which all of her loved ones can coexist. Getting married could be a way to show her family that Dana is here to stay, but at this point, Megan simply doesn't feel ready to take that step. Next, which I think is our last couple, we have Ashley and Miranda. They've been together for 3 years. Ashley uses she, her pronouns. She's 30. She's the ultimatum giver, and she is a Virgo. Her occupation is an account manager. First queer crush was Madison Beer. Fun fact, she says, I'm extremely spontaneous and love to travel or go on any kind of crazy adventure. So after matching on a dating app, Ashley and Marita dove deep, surprising each other with the ability to keep a great conversation going long after the first swipe. Quote, I found Marita very beautiful and interesting from the start and wanted to keep getting to know her. And so she did. And Ashley quickly became certain that she wanted to carry on those conversations for the rest of her life. Marita, on the other hand, isn't so sure, which pushed Ashley to issue the ultimatum. I'm getting tired of her inconsistency in our relationship, along with the fact that she never chooses me and seeks feelings elsewhere with other people. Eek. I want her to pick me and know I am enough. Having been shaped by watching Shannon Beveridge and Cammie Scott back in their YouTube days, Ashley is now ready to put her own relationship out there for the world to see, though she's hoping for a happier ending. So Marita, she uses she, her pronouns. She's 25. As we know, she's ultimatum receiver, and she is a Pisces. Her occupation is an account executive. First career crush was Miley Cyrus or Shay Mitchell. Fun fact, I'm an advanced scuba diver, and I beat Guy Fieri and his son at go-karting when I was little. So about her, as a diehard fan of the OC, Marita is looking for the Alex Kelly to her Marissa Cooper. In other words, Marita is a true romantic, and keeping the passion alive in a relationship is the key to her heart. For Marita, that looks like planning a date that includes a surprise scavenger hunt during sunset on the beach that leads to a special invitation for a candlelit dinner. And while she and Ashley have natural chemistry and deep conversations, Marita still feels that Ashley could make romance more of a priority in the relationship. So until she sees real changes, Marita has no plans on walking down the aisle. I am not ready to settle for anything less than what I know I deserve. Well, that is our cast. Did find out, because I'm actually recording this a little bit later, that this is coming out, I believe, at the end of June. So look out for that when that comes. All right, let's get into the reason that we are here, and that is to discuss the first episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So we start off at some influencer event, and it's kind of like a Halloween influencer event. Macy is like, yes, as Mormons, we do celebrate Halloween. I mean, yeah. And y'all, ooh, surprise, surprise, but Whitney is here. And she's like, hey. And it's like, oh, wait, ma'am, no. Okay. The last time we saw you, you're leaving MomTok, you're coming out the group chat, you stuck a pregnancy test in a cake. Like, we're not your friends right now. And she's literally about ready to pop. She's supposed to have this baby. Um, but she says, she's not a part of MomTok. Which she's the one that did that. She's like, I think people are mad that I left. And I said, kind of like, good luck without me. That's one reason. That's one reason why people are maybe a little bit upset with you. So I noticed that she's went on a podcast, y'all. Now, buckle up, y'all, because for any of my Twihards out there, you might have recognized the podcaster, and I literally had to do a double take because you blink, you missed it, and I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. So I literally went backwards, and I'm like, it's Taylor Lana with his wife. I think her name is Taylor too. Anyway, but like, it's Taylor Lautner. Anyone? If you're Team Jacob, that's fine. You're incorrect, but that's fine. Still loved him anyways. Well, good. Anyways, enough about Taylor Lautner, because that's not why we're here. Who's Miranda? Who's this Miranda chick? She doesn't even go here. Who is this person? Well, she used to be friends with Taylor. Taylor Frankie Paul, that is, not Taylor Lautner. I mean, she used to be friends with Taylor and was heavily involved, according to Taylor, in the swinging. Her and her ex, who we will see very soon. She admits to kissing people, Miranda does, but like hooking up with anyone, like that didn't happen. Okay. And of course, Taylor is like, that's not my experience. It wasn't just kissing. Things happened. Now, if you remember in first season, Taylor did say that it was like quote unquote soft swinging. It wasn't like full blown, you take my wife, I'll take your husband type situation. It wasn't like that, but like things happened, right? But we'll get to it. Michaela believes Taylor in all of this. She is like, Taylor said this, like, why would Taylor say any of these things if it wasn't true? It looks bad on her to say these things. So, like, why would she lie about that? So she's on Taylor's side. Then here comes Taylor. And she ends up sitting right beside Miranda, and it's real awkward. She's like, I don't even know why she's here. I don't even know why she's here. Um, so Dakota, we're finding out some stuff that's been going on. Dakota admitted to having sex with that girl early on. But of course, he had no choice but to admit it. But it was right there in front of her. Because, first of all, number one, we already know, okay? We already know you have sex with this other person. It's pretty freaking obvious that you did. Secondly, you had no choice but to say that you did because the girl went to Macy and confessed about it. And the way you acted during that final episode of season 1, it's like, yeah, right. So is he admitting it because it's the right thing to do? No. He's admitting it because he's backed into a corner. He has nothing else. There's nothing else he can do. So obviously Taylor is pissed. I would be too. So there's that. More on that in a bit. Let's move over to Jen and Zach, y'all, because we all know that there's issues going on with Jen and Zach in last season. So things have been good. I'm sorry, have not been good with Jen and Zach. They're currently separated for like 2 seconds of the first episode. But she's meeting up with him today because he apparently went to med school because we know he was going to med school in New York and ended up leaving med school in New York and ended up going to, I believe, Arizona. And she ended up being like, fuck this shit. I'm going to Utah. And she stayed in Utah while he was in Arizona. So they've been literally separated. They have not even been in the same state. So he's coming so they can talk. Thank God this man cut his hair because, my God, makes him look somewhat better. Somewhat. So he says, listen, I messed up. No matter what happened, I shouldn't have said some of the things I've said. No shit, Sherlock. When meanwhile, you're gambling, but it is what it is. In his ITM, he says, it felt like everyone was against us. No, boo-boo, they were against you. They weren't against Jen, they were against you. You and your misogynistic bullshit, that's what they were against. Everybody. Viewers, the MomTok group, everybody. Come on. Anyways, he says that he's in therapy, feels like something Ed would say. And he was told that, you have to let her live her life. She's not, just because she's your wife doesn't mean she is going to go through everything based on what you want. She's going to live her life. And he's like, okay, well, I guess this is me letting you live your life type situation. So she tells him, listen, I choose MomTok. And he says, I'm choosing to leave medical school. So it's interesting that she's choosing MomTok and he's choosing to leave medical school. And he says, my feelings haven't, or she says, my feelings haven't fully changed. Or no, sorry, I'm getting myself confused. He is the one that says, my feelings haven't fully changed about MomTok, but I'm supporting you. I want to be here with you. So I guess they're okay now. I guess they're back together. It's so weird. He says, he could go back to medical school, but he took a year of absence to, I guess, focus on the family. And she asks, would you talk to the girls? Like, maybe we can get to some sort of level playing field here. And he says, he did try. He ended up sending a voice note to the girls, and we see a clip of them receiving that voice note, or at least playing the voice note. He kind of says, that I'm sorry and all of this for the things he said, the way he acted. And his thing is like, it's a little bit frustrating because I didn't send those voice notes for it to go public. It wasn't meant to be that way. So I don't know. But Jenna holds her own in all of this, thank God, and says, listen, let's give the house in Arizona so she can have that space. She says, if you move here, what is going to change? Like, what is going to be different? because we can't have a repeat of the bullshit from Chippendales. And he says he is not going to church right now. That seemed really huge because I think he is, at least his father or the men in his family are huge pillars in the church. The fact that he isn't going seems really huge. And if he says the reason he does say he isn't going is because he's been fed how things were supposed to be in a marriage, the patriarch and all that, and everything that comes with that. And in his case, the toxicity that comes with it. So I think he's struggling with that and how he goes through life differently when still going to church. So that seemed pretty huge. When I heard him say that, I'm like, whoa, okay, interesting. Do I fully buy him? Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it gave me pause. So we go back with Taylor and Macy, and I wrote here Macy told Taylor, so I'm assuming this has to do with the confession with Jenna, is her name. And now Taylor is actually meeting Jenna to guess get some of the information that Dakota doesn't say. And here she comes, or at Macy's house, whatever. It's awkward as hell. No one's saying anything for a bit. But Jenna came here with receipts. She's here to lay it all out there, show she's not lying, that he's the asshole that's lying in the equation. So we're doing this damn thing. So Taylor asks Jenna, like, did you hang out on August 3rd? Jenna says yes. And Taylor's like, well, that was a lie because he told me that you didn't. And she says, well, he spent the night a few times, is what Jenna is saying. And Taylor says, well, he lied a ton. He said that she would ask him to hang. Um, so I say that he would ask. So, okay, Dakota would tell Taylor that Jenna would be the one that would ask, like, him to hang with her. And Jenna says, nope, he's the one that would always constantly ask me to hang out. They would hook up a lot. And, she's like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't know, blah, blah. And Taylor really struggles here because it's like, it's funny because he was spending time with you during the day because, like, he would do, like, day dates with her and, like, basically, like, spend the day with her kind of thing. And she's like, he'd spend the day with you and then he would come to me at night. Like, and she feels like the one that's being hit. And she feels like but in all intents and purposes, she's not fully using those words, but she feels like she's the whore in the equation. And that's a horrible feeling to feel when you feel like you're falling in love with somebody and you find out that he's spending day dates or whatever with another woman. She says, I feel like a piece of trash, and it's really heartbreaking. Trust me, all it's going to get worse. Not in this episode, not with this situation, but Jenna says, when you posted the bathroom TikToks, and we see this bathroom TikTok that Dakota and Taylor did, she asked him, like, are you dating Taylor? And he said, no, she's just helping me with my social media because I want, like, the clout, basically. And Taylor's like, what the fuck? Like, they were maybe not officially together yet. They were they were a thing. So it's or dry or close to being a thing. So for him to say, oh no, like, she's just helping with my social media is such a kick in the teeth. And she breaks down and it's so hard to watch. Like, she's really going through it and obviously going through this, postpartum as well. It's so sad. So we'll take a break on that for a minute. Miranda and Whitney are meeting up because I guess they're friends. Whitney is like, I guess people are confused about Miranda, but I can relate with her because you're both the outliers. I mean, I know who you are. Plus, like, can we have a new villain? Can't be me this time. Ma'am, let's go through this again, okay? Let's go through your track record. You don't attend Taylor's baby shower. You start arguments about things for no reason. You leave the group chat. You leave MomTok. You don't go to Macy's baby mama launch. But then you show up at whose birthday was, Denise's or whoever birthday it was, the next day or whatever it was. And then you put a pregnancy test on a cake. That's your villain. That's the most important part here is the pregnancy test and the cake. You, ma'am, are the villain. Anyways, Miranda's doing a happy hour with everyone. She kind of wants to get everyone together. Um, and really and truly, my girl is trying to get back into mom talk. That's all she's trying to do. So before all that though, we are at a haunted house. Michaela's not about it. And after they talk about the happy hour, once they do that, and they basically agree, like, clearly she's just writing it into mom talk. But this is what I'm trying to. There are certain people this season so far, 'cause I'm about on episode 5 or 6. People are messy. Some people are a little messy. Jesse is literally, or some of these people are, I think Jesse, Michaela, and it's Jesse, Michaela. I think Layla was there too. I can't remember, but they basically just want to see Taylor and Miranda hash it out because they want to know who's telling the truth. Oh boy, it's gonna get even messier. We are with Taylor, and she says that she called Dakota, and she's over at this point. She's clearly because she does have this really interesting conversation with what's her name again? Jenna. Leanne comes by because she had the baby, and I think Dakota was supposed to have the baby, but she comes over, and y'all, Leanne got a whole new face, and not a new personality. She could have used a new one, but she got a whole new face. At least that. Anyway, she basically tells her mom that she would prefer to walk away from Dakota at this point, which is like, she should have done that a long time ago. Her mom, surprisingly enough, in this moment, actually says sorry and hugs her. I said that like a Canadian. I am Canadian, but we don't say sorry like that. We just say sorry. Okay, I do say it like that. Anyways, um, but yeah, she literally says I'm sorry and hugs her, and I'm shocked because I'm like, oh my god, did she actually get a new personality? Did did she just did she like, is she actually being a really supportive mom in this moment? Don't you worry, y'all, because here she comes. Because she says, I wish you just would have waited, like we said. Ma'am, it is too fucking late. These two dum-dums, yes, had sex, got pregnant, and it is what it is now. To keep talking about it and rehashing it isn't going to change the fact. And again, this is like, whatever. Who cares? Anyways, she says, I'm going to tell him you're immediately out of my house. She's over it. She wants him out. The only way we're going to work is if you let me breathe. So that's basically what's going to happen. So we're on that in a minute. Very quick here. Jen and Zach are doing ketamine therapy. We've seen some of the women do ketamine therapy before. It's gray area in the church, they say, but it's not a commandment, so why not? Thou shalt not have ketamine therapy. It's not there. So, she's like, whoa, it's hitting me. Jen is gone, y'all. She is high as a kite. Afterwards, though, he comes over to her to hug her, and they're having a moment. And you know what? It's actually a little bit sweet. And I'm like, am I buying into Zach? Who am I? Ugh. Um, then we see Dakota packing up because Taylor told him to get the fuck out of my house. He's going to live with a friend in the meantime. Probably not Jenna. He's like, when I saw Macy call Jenna, I told Taylor that I hooked up with her. So you only did it because Macy was basically backing your ass into a corner. But when he told her he hooked up with her, he said it was only dry humping. Wait, wait. We are grown ass adults who have had sex, okay? If a man came to me and started dry humping me without hopefully the end goal being wet humping me, then we're gonna have problems. I am a 34-year-old woman. What the hell is happening here? I think I can't even tell you the last time I dry humped without potentially having sex after. High school, maybe? Like, it's the fact that this grown ass man who is clearly has no qualms on having sex with Taylor is actually going to say, oh, I only dry humped Emma. Or Jenna, sorry, not Emma, Jenna. And if she actually believe him, if, if my boyfriend actually came to me and said, oh, I didn't hook up with her, only dry humped her, first of all, A, that is hooking up. B, so you're sticking with that story. Okay, sure, Jan. No, like, come on. He says, but I lied because I was trying to protect myself. At least you're honest. He's like, I feel a lot of guilt with my son. And as you should. You should feel guilt because you do have a child involved here. And his family's being ripped apart because you wanted to quote unquote dry hump with Jenna. So stupid. So, anyways, that's that. We have this happy hour now that Miranda is organizing so she can get back onto MomTok. I mean, get to know the girls. And she says she's doing this wanting the support. So she made like a cheese spread with MomTok written out of cheese. Male, male. You're trying really, really hard to get into MomTok. And then here comes Whitney because Whitney and Miranda are establishing a friendship here. Jen talks to Whitney about not trusting anyone because she texts everyone saying, don't feed into things, try not to respond to things. And like they never responded. And I guess they're feeding into things. Like, I don't know. Taylor ends up showing up and they basically take the opportunity to start talking about like between her and Miranda. So Taylor's like, listen, like, why are you here? And she says to break the ice. And I wrote Jamie, but that's not Jamie. It's probably Jesse. But Jesse's like, well, like timing, because this is when you show up to come back to MomTok when Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has blown up. Like, this is when you show up. But she says, even the conversation we had, you lied about the kiss. So, yeah. We'll see how that turns out. But that is the end of episode 1. So we'll be back with episode 2 soon enough. But yeah, that is it for me. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality T times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityt times 2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityt times 2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.